that, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, and even if I never like do my own podcast again,
Mm-hmm.
or even in the near future, I suppose, I learned how to do it.
Yeah.
Like the RSS feeds and
Mm-hmm.
yada yada yada, all that. I mean, it was fun. Now I know how to do it.
Yeah. Did you guys talk about whatever?
Oh yeah, it was just bullshit
Just
about
spitballing?
whatever. Yeah, people were like, "What's your podcast about?" And be like, "I don't." That's a good question.
So you're gonna have to find out.
Yeah, exactly.
That's funny. So keep
Oh
going.
yeah, I mean, podcasting. Before I did a semester at UNK for
Mhm.
like radio broadcasting, so I did like audio production and radio workshop.
Mhm.
So just already done like all the podcasting and recording stuff I'd done already on my own, going and taking those classes. Yeah, I got a 4.0 that semester.
Nice.
Not even trying to brag. But yeah, and like so then even when I was doing my own radio show for that semester, it was just like, oh, I've already been doing this,
Yeah.
like just at home.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it just wasn't being aired live
Yeah.
on the radio waves. But I think it took a lot of that anxiety away.
Nice to just be in front of the microphone.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
it got me a
and just
job at
going for it.
the radio station for a hot minute. So I mean,
Nice.
everything you do leads to something else. You know.
For sure, man.
Yeah.
I guess. So being so involved in everything, what do you think is the biggest like contrast you've seen in terms of gigs? You know.
Oh, like how do you mean like?
So like the most like. What is the most like, you know, backyard kind of gig you've done as compared to like, you know, maybe some of these like Luke Mills gigs, you know, where it's like some big production and stuff like that? What's the range there for you?
Oh man, I've played in like some like when I was doing like I was in a cover band in high school called Merle Buckley, and yeah, we'd play like Led Zeppelin songs and stuff like that. But we were getting booked in like, you know, really small town bars and stuff, and getting like a $500 guarantee to go play for like 4 hours. But sometimes you'd show up and there's not a stage.
Oh,
you know, they'd be moving tables, and you're in this room that probably can fit maybe 50 people that has 100 in there, and some, you know, depending on the night, like, yeah, you're crammed into a corner, you can't move or whatever.
Yeah.
I played in like backyards before. It was like private parties where they said it was going to be a big thing, and 5 people are there drinking, and you're just playing to yourself.
They're just like, woo!
Yeah, I think you got to power through those.
Yeah.
You know, like I've even like some of the gigs where I've been promised, like, oh yeah, like it's going to be a good turnout or whatever. You show up, you play for 45 minutes. It's like nobody's even listening to you. Like the 2 people that are there at the bar are just there to drink.
Yeah.
No applause. And you're just like, I gotta power through this set.
How do I do this right now?
Yeah. Like, or, you know, like the really drunk people. I think everybody deals with that though, you know?
Yeah.
Like the small venue stuff where, you know, like, fucking Freebird.
Yeah.
Like, oh God.
Or like when you're playing on the floor and people are like dancing around you, and it's like, please don't step on my pedal board right now, you know, and it's like they're like right next to you, and it's like, you're gonna knock this microphone stand over, like, what are you doing? I
had somebody try to grab my headstock while I was playing one time. I'm like, what are you doing?
Like, do you not know manners? Like, what are you doing? Yeah.
I mean, I had a gig one time. I won't even drop his name, but when I was playing with him, we were playing in a small venue, and I was singing into the microphone, and the other guitar player, he was wasted, and he's standing because it's like not even a stage. He's just standing in front of like the mock stage.
Yeah.
He's kicking around, trying like showing off or whatever.
Yeah.
Like he kicks the mic stand while I'm singing.
Oh no.
And the mic just goes straight into my front, like left big tooth, and I can feel it. It just like I got my tooth chipped.
Oh no.
I was pissed off. Whatever. He's drunk. He's like gets on the microphone. He's like, "Let me see it." He's like, "Oh, this next song is dedicated to Jimmy Chip Tooth Dubya." And I'm like, "Oh my God."
Fuck you, man.
Yeah, I was yeah, stuff like that. I mean, I played that Frog Fest thing, 2 summers ago?
What was that?
That was, it's like outside of Lincoln. I played it with Luke, but I'd never heard of this thing before. So I was just like, oh, it's just another random ass gig on a Friday night.
It was huge?
Yeah, there were like 5,000 people.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it was like a big, like, we opened up for,
Frog Fest?
It wasn't Luke Bryant. It was, what the heck? It was one of those guys, like Luke Bryan or some bullshit like that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like so I we're just hanging out backstage, so I didn't really like know like the brevity or whatever of the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I like go up to like, you know, set up my stuff, and it's just like an ocean of people. I was like,
whoa,
what the fuck? I was totally cool with it.
Yeah.
But it was like after it was the only time I played in front of a crowd that big.
Mm-hmm. How'd it feel?
It felt awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, it was great.
Like,
I mean, it was. I'm like this. I want to do this every night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess being a almost like a freelance musician, so you're okay. Like, is there one genre that you would prefer to do that with, or is this kind of like you're open to whatever?
I'm open to whatever, man. I mean, there are things that I like. I'd want to do personally. Like I've got, I don't know. Like I'm a big like I like avant-garde music, like Mr. Bungle, for instance, and stuff like that. Which I've always wanted to do some, you know, a weird experimental thing. Yeah. Someday, you know, and you know, I like all the pop synth stuff too. I've always wanted to do that, but you know. It'll come someday. Yeah. Yeah, but like I'd rather be playing
than not.
Than
being over here being a snob.
And guess what? Every time you go play with somebody new, you end up learning a bunch of stuff anyway.
For sure.
That you can take over into your own stuff. Mm-hmm. And even on top of it, you want to get into the business side of it, like all the networking you get to do with, you know, playing with, like in different genres. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's good. I mean, if you're in your 20s, like you should just go out and just
play with
be a band whore.
Yeah, yeah.
Or just play with. Yeah, like if you know how to play this instrument and you're not busy in the band you are in, go join another one. You see, you know, like
maybe I should do that.
Yeah, I've learned a lot from it. I've met a lot of really great people from it, and even just going to shows, not even playing. Yeah, you know, I've always made it a point living here in Kearney. Like I try to go to as many local shows as possible, just because. You know, you never
surprising amount.
Yeah. Well, you never know like what it's gonna be like, and you never know who who you're gonna run into again.
Yeah, like because it's always just the names, and you go up there and you're like, oh, it's this motherfucker.
Yeah,
what
exactly.
Like I didn't know you played.
I mean, I'm sure the same for you guys too. It's like there's people I would have never have met if I wouldn't have like gone to a show.
Yeah, for sure, man.
So like I do think, you know, not networking for your own gain per se, but just like it's good to know people.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and everybody helps everybody out eventually. Yeah,
absolutely.
And that's what it's all about. Like if you're not trying to be selfish about it, then yeah, it's good to like network around and bring everybody up together. Like that's what it's all about.
Yeah, so you want to be in a music community. Like probably the biggest part of like being in a music community is showing up to these things. Exactly. And I know that's like a really DIY perspective, or like, yeah, you just show up and support. But I do think it's important, especially in communities like this, where we're not that big. Yeah, you know, like it's kind of the fake it till you make it attitude. Like, well, like we want this to be big, we got to treat it like it's big. Yeah. And
I think it's like there's a little following there, but just got to keep active with it, you know.
Absolutely, yeah, because like it's one of those things where it's like, why would anybody else care about it? If you don't even act like you care about it, they're like, why should I give a shit? You don't even act like you give a shit.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, well, like, why would I go? Why would I go out to all these shows? Now I never see you out, kind of thing. You know?
Yeah. Oh yeah. So if you've seen Jimmy play guitar, you might notice he played guitar a little bit differently. You want to talk about that a little bit?
Oh yeah. Oh, that was actually something I was going to talk about earlier with the whole criticism thing.
Oh yeah.
You know, with the. I have a thing called radial ulnar congenital stenosis is the medical term for it. It's basically when I developed in the womb, there's bones in your elbows. They're supposed to be spaced out a certain way to allow forearm rotation. So why I play the guitar the way I do, my arms are. I mean, I can't turn my palms up, right? Like you can see it. Like, see when I do turn. Yeah. I'm turning my elbow in. I have no forearm rotation. Like at all.
Oh, okay, okay.
So growing up, I really wanted to play guitar, and you know, my parents were like, "Well, he's not gonna be able to play guitar. He can't turn his arms over to like, you know, play it the regular way. You know, put his hand under the fretboard. You know, just give a visual. Yeah. Because I wouldn't be able to do that.
Okay,
but it was actually
you can't flip
the way the idea came from. Actually, my granddad, you know, which he played guitar for years. He's like, "Why don't you just play electric guitar up and down like a cello?" Nice. And so I ended up getting one of those like Squier Stratocaster starter kits for Christmas when I was 14, and
classic.
I started just I was just determined to do it, and I kept doing it. I kept going. I kept getting better. Before you know it, I'm like, I was playing like at the beer tents at like Comstock when I was like 15 years old.
Hell yeah,
like a year later, and everything, and then it just kind of turned into this. But I just kept, you know what I mean? I just kept practicing.
It was just that drive. It's like, no, I want to play guitar. I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
And
so
it just helped me get so good.
If you ever look it up, like I play the guitar up and down like a cello.
I remember seeing it the first time. I was like, what's this guy doing? I was like, there's no way like he's choosing to play like
people like when we'd play down in like Omaha with like Lost Boys and stuff, Tony would tell me, he's like, yeah, like a lot of those guys like were like, what the fuck's up with your guitar player? He's such a show off. And like, how is it? What kind of gimmick is that?
Like,
you're gonna pick like one gimmick and do it for 45 minutes? That's like playing guitar with your teeth for 45 minutes.
Like no one's gonna choose to do that.
Play it behind your head for 45 minutes. Like, no, like why would I? But yeah, like people are like, that guy's cocky. I'm like,
he's not doing it on purpose, asshole.
Yeah, like this. Like, I have no other choice. Like, otherwise, I'm just not gonna play.
That's crazy that people would even go that, like, think that way.
Even like palm muting, like I can't do like, because like,
oh fuck, that would be hard.
So, because I'm playing like this. I've got my picking hand down here, so I can't turn my arm, my hand over to mute. So what I figured out was, on the fret, you can actually go up and put your, like say you're doing like a power chord, like you can take your middle finger and your pinky and lightly put it right up on the next fret up on each of those, and mute. You can mute stuff on the fretting hand instead of your picking hand.
What?
It took me for fucking ever to get it.
Damn, dude, but you did it. God damn, Jimmy, dude, that's fucking awesome.
Man. Thanks, man.
That's fucking awesome. It's just inspiring, man.
Yeah, I appreciate
for
it,
real,
man.
Dude. Like, I'm never gonna be that guy that's fucking being an asshole about it. It's just like, no, that's fucking awesome, dude. He wanted to do it, and they said, you're not going to be able to do it, man. And you're just like, fuck you. I can do this, and I'm going to be good at it. And I think that's exactly why you got so good, just because of that drive. It's like, I'm going to prove that I can do it. And then it just fucking amped you up even more.
I've thought that before, too. Like, if I wasn't born with this arm disability.
How good would you be?
No, I'd probably be just I'd be another white dude with fucking guitar, and I'd be playing A pentatonic over and over. Like, it's going to... Like, yeah, it's probably, honestly, it probably was the best thing that ever happened to me.
That's such a good way to think about it, man.
Otherwise, I'd probably just be like, I kind of got it down, so did it.
That's great. That's a great way to think about it. So is that, like, how you try to always, like, because it takes a lot. It takes a lot to still fucking have the just motivation to keep going, after feeling like you maybe feeling like you can't, like it's not something that's meant for you. How did you deal with that? And how did you deal with the extra criticism, too, on top of it, of people fucking dissing you for something that you fucking were born with?
I fueled the fire. I mean, I think probably was the best. That's another thing that I could say that probably was the best thing that ever happened to me. Because I was so motivated to, I love what I do, and I wanted to do it, but I think just on top of everybody being like, he's not going to be able to do it, or like he's showing off. It's like, well, now I just want to. Now it needs to be that much more honest.
Yeah,
you know. And when you see, with something like that, when you didn't even know if you were going to be able to do it, at the start, and everybody else kind of had that same mentality.
Yeah.
When you start seeing positive results, it makes those positive results that much more potent.
Yeah.
Where you're like, oh shit,
makes it that much
I'm doing
sweeter.
this unconventionally, and I'm getting a positive result. It's like that freaking carrot, in front of the hamster wheel.
Yeah.
So you just keep going.
It's right
and
there.
then so when you're doing things conventionally, you're like, well, if I could learn how to play guitar with an arm disability like that, well, I can probably just do anything I decide to.
Yeah.
Put my mind to, if you work at it.
That's fucking awesome, man. Because I definitely see that in you. There's just this drive. And this just like motivation to just get after everything, and it's inspiring, man. Honestly, because you just seem like you never stop. And I've always just kind of wondered, it's like that's how you've always been, and that's fucking great. Because I don't think a lot of people could have that mentality, going through what you went through, and stuff like that. Some people just fold up, Some people just fold up right away. You know, it's too much to handle. But you turned it around.